Maggie had always loved books. When she accepted the position as the new librarian in the quaint town of Ravenswood, she thought it was a dream come true. The library, a grand old building with towering shelves and hidden nooks, was a treasure trove of stories waiting to be discovered. Little did she know, some stories were never meant to be read. On her first day, Maggie found a dusty, locked room at the back of the library. The key, an ornate, ancient thing, was hanging from a hook on the wall. Curiosity piqued, she unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room was filled with old leather-bound books, their spines cracked and titles faded. One book in particular caught her eye. It was bound in dark, almost black leather with no title on the cover. As she opened the book, a chill ran down her spine. The pages were filled with names and dates, each entry meticulously handwritten. The first name she saw was John Miller, October 3rd, 2023. She recognized the name. John was the town's baker. Her heart skipped a beat when she realized today was October 3rd. Dismissing it as a coincidence, Maggie continued her work. That evening, as she walked home, she passed the bakery. A crowd had gathered, and she overheard whispers of an accident. John Miller had slipped and fallen, hitting his head on the counter. He was dead. The next day, Maggie couldn't shake the eerie feeling. She returned to the forbidden book, flipping through the pages. Each name she recognized had a date that matched their death. She found her own name, Maggie Carter, October 10th, 2023. Her blood ran cold. She had 7 days. Determined to change her fate, Maggie tried to destroy the book. She tore at the pages, but they wouldn't rip. She tried burning it, but the flames refused to catch. Desperation set in. She needed help. Maggie confided in the town's historian, Mr. Whitaker, an elderly man with a wealth of knowledge about Ravenswood's dark past. His face paled when she showed him the book. "This is the Book of Shadows," he whispered. "It was created by a coven of witches centuries ago. It predicts deaths, and once your name is in it, there's no escaping your fate." Maggie refused to accept this. She spent the next few days researching, hoping to find a way to break the curse. As the days passed, she became increasingly paranoid, jumping at every shadow, avoiding any potential danger. On the night of October 9th, Maggie stayed in the library, surrounded by books and candles. She was determined to stay awake, to outlast the curse. As midnight approached, the air grew thick with tension. The clock struck 12, and Maggie let out a sigh of relief. She had made it. But then, the candles flickered, and a cold wind swept through the room. The book on the table opened by itself, pages flipping wildly. Maggie's name glowed on the page, and she felt an invisible force pulling her towards it. She struggled, but it was futile. The last thing she saw was her own reflection in the library window, eyes wide with terror, before everything went black. The next morning, the townsfolk found Maggie's lifeless body in the library, the Book of Shadows open beside her. Her name, along with the date, was the final entry. The library was closed for weeks after Maggie's death. When it finally reopened, the forbidden room was sealed, the key hidden away, but the Book of Shadows remained, waiting for the next curious soul to uncover its dark secrets. And so the cycle continued, the book's ominous predictions claiming one life after another in the quiet town of Ravenswood.